Good morning, everyone. If you're new, make sure you're subscribed. Everyone, please like the video and share the video. It's unfortunately, a big news day. I have a Save America hat. And I don't really wear it too much because I don't know if enough people know what that is, but it is really time to start getting your MAGA hats out again. If you're not wearing your MAGA hats around, wear it. And this one, I particularly like this one because it's so big on top. You can see me coming a mile away. Can someone tell me, because the numbers have been changing, what is the latest number of total? I'm not talking about the Marine. I'm talking about total. Because the last I heard it was 95 civilians.
Brings that radiant barrier into your attic. It pays for itself because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house cool and comfortable for you, which means you have lower electrical bills. It works. Listen, guys, give Scott a Cut My Kilowatts a call. His number's listed at SteveKaneShow.com, as is his website if you miss it. His number, which rings directly to him, 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. That's Scott.
60, and that's why I asked, because I heard 95 civilians in one report earlier this morning. I know some are saying 60, but then I heard 95 civilians. Here we go.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's
here we go, guys.
1-888-COCAINE-1. Now.
Alrighty, welcome everyone. It is Friday, August 27th, 2021. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977. Welcome back and to another morning here that is a rough, frightening, and tragic morning, not just for America, for Afghanistan, and much of the world. And we're certainly going to talk about all of these things, these terrible things that happened yesterday. But of course, we must always start the Friday show by telling you that this is the most important Steve Kane show of the week, because this is not just our live morning program on this Friday morning. This is our overnight rebroadcast for the entire weekend. And just on our radio stations, I'm not including iHeartRadio, my YouTube channel, and all the places that carry this program with and without our permissions, just on our radio stations, the Friday edition of the Steve Kane Show will air a total of 35 times before we return live to you Monday morning at 6 a.m. So we always want to make sure the Friday show is the best. And I'll tell you, I'm going to say this right out the gate. I want to take a lot of phone calls today. I don't usually say that or do that, but I do, because I want to. I think that press conference with Biden yesterday, it frightened the hell out of me. It really did, and I think it frightened the hell out of everyone but ISIS-K and the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and the terrorists. I think it frightened America. And I want you all to share your thoughts on it. We're in the discussion about the current state of Joe Biden. This is one of those moments with what's going on right now in this country. And I learned something about General Milli Vanilli this morning that I'm going to share with you later that blew my mind away. Just blew my mind. We'll get to that in a little bit, but we're being. This is not a partisan discussion about Biden today. Okay, this is not a partisan discussion. That press conference yesterday was a disaster. A disaster. You know, this was changed early on. But the way that the founders originally intended the presidency and vice presidency, while my entire life I thought it was crazy town what they did, and they changed it. I don't know exactly what year. They did it like right in the first decade, first couple of presidents. I can't remember which one offhand, but the way that it originally worked in the Constitution, and there was an amendment early on, I mean, you know, before 1820, I mean, this was really early on. But the way that it originally worked, two people ran for president, right, the opposing parties. The winner became president, and the loser became the vice president. Like Washington and Adams were of different political parties. And my entire life, I've studied all these things with American history, and everything about that shows that it was crazy. Like, Adams was kept out of all the cabinet meetings. Washington wouldn't confide in him. Washington wouldn't have him in meetings. He would dismiss him from meetings and then have the real meeting without him, because Washington didn't trust Adams because they were of a different political party. But we have a crisis now in this country that I do not believe America has faced before. And if we had the original system, it would have been resolved in a heartbeat. But now, because of the partisanship of the presidency and the vice president, and I'm not talking about just these two, I'm talking about the way the system works, nothing will be done for the good of the party. Everyone who saw that press conference yesterday knows that Kamala Harris should fly into Washington and tell Joe Biden and Joe Biden sit them down and say it's over. You've got to resign, or I'm going to the cabinet for the 25th Amendment. I never liked Joe Biden. A lot of you may not remember when he was younger and had his wits about him and was in the Senate. He was a nasty guy who was always screaming. And he had the worst hair transplants. Those doll hair transplants that guys used to get. But this isn't about that. We have someone who is not capable as the commander-in-chief. He's corrupt and feeble and mentally incapable of doing the job. But because of if it was the original system, Donald Trump would be the vice president right now. Al Gore would have been Bush's vice president. And this would be resolved. That press conference would have been the end of it yesterday. But because the Democrats always stick together, Biden took how many hours to come out yesterday? My goodness. 8 hours to come out yesterday after the event, after the attack? And notice he didn't say that he spoke to any family members. Interesting, huh? Not shocking. On my YouTube, on YouTube, when I put up a YouTube video, I put up a title on YouTube. It says 25th Amendment, Resignation, or Impeachment. This is beyond partisan politics. And all day yesterday, during those 7-8 hours, however long it was before Biden came out and spoke to us in that tragic press conference, disastrous press conference yesterday, their meetings all day long, do you know what they were about? What were they meeting about yesterday, would you guess? They were sitting around meeting, discussing how they were going to get the messaging out. They were sitting around worried about Biden. They weren't worried about anything else but Biden and his reputation and trying to get him through a press conference without looking like he did yesterday. And they failed at that. Those many hours yesterday that Biden didn't come out had nothing to do with checking in with commanders on the ground, finding out what's going on, assessing anything. It had to do with saving Biden. I'd like to know how involved Jill was in those meetings yesterday. I'm frightened, and I'll tell you, I watched first the press conference with Kirby and that general. I don't know his name, the general that was on the screen yesterday with Kirby after the attack. And they're talking about our partners in the Taliban. We have been at war with the Taliban for 20 years. The majority of the Taliban fighters, and now think about this, now we've been bombing them for 20 years. The majority of the Taliban fighters were born after 9/11. A lot of them are teenagers. The majority of Taliban fighters were born after 9/11. They don't know a world without war against America. The majority of the rest of them were very, very young, babies when it happened, and have no recollection of a world before war with America. So people that know nothing but a 20-year war against the United States now are in charge of our security, and now it's come out. You know, you know what the airport has now become? Hamid Karzai Airport. Karzai. Do you know what that airport has become right now? It's become the Alamo, is what it's become. Hopefully it turns out better than the Alamo. So, listen to this. It's being confirmed all over the place that, I don't know if it was the State Department, the military, it was the Biden administration. Nobody wants to take blame and responsibility for anything. Do you know that the Taliban, now keep in mind, the Taliban have this perimeter, Santa Ana with the Taliban here, have had the airport surrounded for a week and a half, maybe longer, but about a week and a half, stopping everyone who comes through. A lot of people that have the proper paperwork cannot get through and have not gotten through. Our own American civilians that are trapped in Afghanistan can't get through. But somehow, this ISIS guy got through with a bomb strapped to him? Come on. The Taliban is responsible for that attack yesterday. Give me a break. Now listen to this. And this has been confirmed. These rocket scientists that we have running this government gave to the Taliban a list of names which include addresses and phone numbers and everything else, cell phones and everything else. They gave a list of names of all the American civilians in Afghanistan, as well as all those who have been working for us all these years. It's now being referred to, and I hate to use this phrase in this title, a kill list. This is the most incompetence this country has ever seen in all of our history. And what's this business with ISIS-K, this new supervillain that they've created? ISIS-K, never heard of him till yesterday. What about you guys? Be honest. Now all of a sudden they're the enemy, and the Taliban that we've been fighting for 20 years, they're the good guys? We've got 3.5 years, man, until 2024. We'll take our first break. I want to hear your thoughts on everything that happened yesterday. I've got some audio sound bites I'm going to get into, and we've just scratched the surface on the topics, but this is a rough day. And I'd like to keep the conversation to this topic. We can branch out a little bit. If any of you saw the interview with the officer who killed Ashley Babbitt, I watched it right before I left the house to come to the radio station today with Lester Holt. Wow. If it wasn't for this event yesterday, that'd be the whole focus of today's show. It's 16 minutes after 6 o'clock in the morning. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, that's Kane, and the number 1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Don't go anywhere. We'll take that break and be right back after this.
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went there and got me some used tires, and when I went there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going around, man. Everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man. And Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires.
Wesley, $5 super chat. Everyone thank Wesley. Biden is also a war criminal. No doubt. Was Steve Kane Show.
977-9445.
Hey, Jeff.
We'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to talk to you about Tom Laporta.
Steve Kane Show.
Laporta Contracting. We needed a new roof.
Steve Kane Show.
We needed a new roof, but we just procrastinated. We saw wet spots on the ceilings. We called Tom Laporta, and he came out and did a free roof inspection, which he does for everybody, not just us. And sure enough, we needed a new roof. We had a mold problem. It was only going to get worse. He dealt with our HOA association. He fixed our roof. Not only did he take care of the roof, he took care of the ceiling stains. So they removed all the popcorn, they cleaned everything up, they painted, they sealed inside and out. Everything is beautiful. And I have to tell you, when we get those hard South Florida rainstorms, it is such a pleasure to listen to the raindrops on the roof and not have to worry about it leaking or causing further problems. The staff was courteous.
Steve Kane Show.
And Tom answered every question. Call Tom Laporta for a free roof inspection. He does residential and commercial properties, and his cell number is 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. Make sure you tell him Lori Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Alrighty, guys, we're back. 19 minutes after 6 o'clock in the morning. It is Friday. And by the way, those of you that don't, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig, on YouTube. Of course, I live stream the radio show each and every morning. We have a very active chat room there. And also, I upload my podcast to that YouTube channel. And I make a lot of other videos that I upload there as well. I vlog, I travel around and make videos and upload them to my channel. And there's, I don't know how many, well over 1,000 videos on my YouTube channel, Brian Craig, or The Brian Craig Show. Search it and you'll see my channel link come up, and subscribe. And don't think because it says subscribe that it costs anything. It is completely free. Okay, so Brian Craig, The Brian Craig Show on YouTube. Go there and subscribe, guys. Okay, let's go to the phones. Good morning. First call of the day. You're on the radio.
Good morning. How you doing?
Well, I don't know. I'm scared. That press conference yesterday scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I was livid because I was looking at him, and it's just.
Well, I'll tell you, I was scared on 9/11, and 9/11 was very scary, and George W. Bush, got a lot of problems with him now because he voted for this guy Biden, undermined Trump, but you know what he on September 11th. We got strength from George Bush every step of the way, which, you know, and then he went to ground zero with the bullhorn with his arm around the firemen, you know, and there was strength, there was unity, there was resolve. What we heard yesterday was a man checked out and mourning over his son Bo again, you know, which, you know, and put his head down like he was going to fall asleep there for a moment.
Yeah, he was.
No, this is not Weezy. This is Maria.
I'm going to call him. I want to call him no names. I want to be respectful respectful to him. But the thing it is, he's so out of touch with reality. He just want to sit there and move on by his thumb and use the American people as a tool and leave our soldiers over there in a bad situation that he did, and blame Trump for everything. Blame Trump for this, blame Trump for that. Nobody, you the commander-in-chief. This is on you.
You know, he rescinded every order that Trump ever gave, but that one he's got to stick by? Come on, man, as Biden would say. And, you know, listen, if Biden had his wits about him, it's not that we would necessarily be agreeing with whatever his resolve was or anything. But yesterday, he is so weak and feeble and checked out and in la-la land because of his cognitive decline that press moment yesterday emboldened our enemies. And there's a big problem with what's going on. Here we're going to be out on Tuesday. That attack, I considered a Taliban attack. They got through. It's, you know, they couldn't wait. We're going to be gone from the country by Tuesday, and they still had to go and kill Americans. And now all U.S. assets, except our civilians that are being held hostage by the Taliban behind their lines, all American forces are in one place now, the airport. And that's why I'm referring to it as the Alamo. God help us, but you think that's going to be the last of it? Come on.
No, this is just the beginning. Just like I heard the guy said yesterday, he said, I don't want to hear anything from Republicans. I don't want to hear anything from the media. This is straight out blood on his hand. He did it. He know he did it. He needs to take responsibility and own up to it and stop blaming everyone else.
Yeah, remember George Bush? I hear you, and soon the people that knock down these buildings are going to hear you too in the bullhorn. What we got yesterday, Bo, Trump, I've been given this list. I've been instructed on who to call on. You know, that's dangerous. That was dangerous, man. And this is one of those days. This is one of those days that we're not Republicans or Democrats here. We're Americans.
That's right. That's right. We are Americans, and we have to stand up and recognize what happened here. And I have a message for all the ones out there that thought that that Joe Biden was gonna go in there and be this good guy who you claimed he wanted, and we got rid of the monster, the Orange Man. But guess what? The Orange Man is a hero. He stuck up for America. He stuck by the American people, and he fighted for America. He didn't allow us to be killed like that. He didn't to be stranded like that.
Yeah.
He is out of touch, and he's sick, and he needs to resign.
Yeah. And Kamala should put the screws to him to do it. You know, when Nixon resigned, it was the Republicans that put pressure on him to do it. It was a nonpartisan thing. Nixon was not impeached. Everybody says he would have been impeached. And being impeached isn't the same as being removed from office. I don't know if he would have or not. I don't know. Maybe he would have. Maybe he wouldn't have. But the Republicans did what was best for the country, not what was best for the Republican Party. You know, when they went over and told Nixon resign. And I know Kamala doesn't want to. You know, Kamala may not be any better, but at least she knows what day it is.
Yeah, she's a little bit uplifted and understand, and she will have the people surround her to help her. But you cannot allow this guy to stay in office any longer. 3 years of this, no, I don't think.
You know, and this thing he did with Bo yesterday, he's never gotten over Bo. I mean, he is the devastating thing over Bo. But Bo, you know, Bo was his go-to. What Biden did yesterday, it was very strange, but what Biden did yesterday was he was trying to get sympathy for him. That's why he did that whole story about Bo. It was to try to get people, Americans, feeling sorry for him. And it was very weird, very strange.
Yeah, well, I know when I look at it and I see him, I said, there you go again. You was his dad's son to make the American people be on his side. But guess what, buddy? That ain't going to work. That ain't going to work. This is on you. And my message to him is, you caused this crisis. You caused this. You could have done it a better way than you did it, but you sat there with your ego issues, and you sat there and used the American soldiers and the American people for your behalf.
If Jill Biden was a decent woman, she would tell her husband to resign.
Yeah, of course. Of course. No woman would have sat up there and watched their husband. You could just look at him. He's not there. He's not there at all.
Mm-mm. No, and you know, the stress, we don't know what he has, okay? We don't know. People speculate. But whatever he has, stress makes it a lot worse. And he's worse, but he has more bad days than good days, but yesterday was really bad. In that moment when he put his head down on the podium with that exchange with Peter Doocy, my goodness.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, all right, Marie, appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Jeff from Maine. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Brian. What you said about this is emboldening our enemies is spot on. First of all, the thing that Biden allowed to happen was a lack of leadership at the least, but at worst, it was a dereliction of duty that led to the death of my Marine brothers and that Navy corpsman. And it's disgraceful what he did on that TV, bringing up Bo and not talking to those families that just lost their loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
Disgraceful.
Yeah. And I was surprised. You know, I think he took about 8 hours to come out yesterday after the event, and I was expecting him to say that he had reached out to the families of at least some of the Marines yesterday, but he didn't. And they know who they are because there aren't that many guys there. They know who they are already. They're probably from the same unit, the same base. You know, it's not a very difficult thing for them to do. And these poor guys, they were patting this guy down when it went off. That's why there were so many that were taken. And how'd they get through Taliban lines?
Well, you know, there's no, for the boots on the ground, the leadership in Afghanistan, what are they doing to protect?
Our generals are all incompetent wokers. I've been watching, and you know, I remember in the days of Stormin' Norman Schwarzkopf. You know, 'cause I remember those days. You know, and look what we got now. You know, I watched. They get the one general that's at the Pentagon with the spokesperson all the time, Kirby. His uniform doesn't even fit, and he's just a weirdo. The big oaf. This general yesterday that they had on the video, I mean, he was not a tough guy. And then I find out today that, you know, that transgendered cabinet person that Biden appointed? Do you know General Milley played high school football on the same team with that person? Yeah, I just was reading a story this morning. I've heard something about them going to high school together, but they actually played football on the same team. What are the odds of that? You know, I mean, we just don't have men leading the military now. We've got this Secretary of Defense who's just clueless and incompetent, who is where he is through affirmative action, I believe, because he's too incompetent. I've been watching these press conferences, and usually generals project strength. This guy yesterday that they had on the video, the 4-star general, was the wimpiest general I had ever seen. And these are guys that came up through the ranks during the Obama era, you know, and it's frightening. We just don't have. That's why Trump began his rally last Saturday with the Patton speech.
And I wanted to add one more thing. This has weakened our allies, our repertoire with them. How are we going to get people to trust us again in Afghanistan? There's only one way. I believe that's putting President Trump back in that White.
Well, by the time that happens, Jeff, we're in a bad spot right now. And yesterday, the look and sound of Biden showed nothing but America is weak, cannot stand up to them, and that Biden gave them an entire country. And don't buy this crap that the Taliban were not supposed to be running Afghanistan. The duly elected government that fled under the Trump agreement was going to be running Afghanistan. And so he gave them Afghanistan, and he's shown them that we have no resolve.
Military hardware, because China's going to be in there
They already got it. They've already got it. You don't think that China is already inside those brand new Black Hawks with the latest computer tech? Of course they are. They're already there. If they've either, there was one aircraft was I think it was a fighter jet early on, was flown out of the country somewhere. They already got it. They've already got it. But
and that's called treason, Brian. Why isn't this guy being at least the 25th Amendment?
Because Kamala. It takes the vice president to bring in the 25th Amendment. And Nancy Pelosi, she is so checked out, Nancy Pelosi. This business of hers out in San Francisco going to this women's thing, celebrating women something yesterday while this was going on. She's as checked out as Biden is in another way. But Kamala's not going to do. First off, Kamala doesn't want this crap. She wouldn't know what to do. She's scared to death.
If there's any chance that...
No. What do you... Why would you... You know, I don't get why people think that's a good thing. Plus, look at who these generals are. You want General Milley running things? I mean, I haven't seen one military leader that's a man. That's a real man, a real general, a real go-get-'em guy. Well, that's insane. That's crazy. No. The military, first off, you wouldn't want that to be true. Second, it's not true. And who in the military leadership have you seen that looks like someone that's a Norman Schwarzkopf type? And I'm talking about guys with 4 stars, because those are the ones, there's a lot of 4-star generals running around, and they're all a bunch of left-wing wokesters that believe the greatest threat to America is white supremacy and MAGA and all this. No, Our military is a woke class.
Do you think it's too late to win back the House?
Oh no, this is devastating for the Democrats for decades to come. This is really devastating. This is really a bad. The Democrats with what they've done here is bad stuff. All right, Jeff, I got to run for the bottom of the hour, but take care. Well, let's take a break. If you're on hold, stand by. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
Hi, Brian Craig here. I'm in studio with my wife, Kathy, and she's here to tell you about her experience with the MyPillow mattress topper.
Well, as you know, Brian, I was waking up in pain almost every morning for years and years, and we had bought a new mattress not that long ago, but it still was not doing the trick. So I said to you, let's get the MyPillow mattress topper, and let's see if it helps or makes any kind of a difference. And I have to tell you, after sleeping on it just one night, I woke up no pain. I felt incredible. It made a huge, huge difference for me. And the pain has not returned.
Wow, that's absolutely...
If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, all right? And click that notification bell. I post videos and do live streams all the time on this channel, not just when I'm on the radio. And everyone watching, please like the video and share if you can. Get all your friends to subscribe. This is the MAGA show of record.
But you've got to use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. It comes in every size, too, from twin all the way up to California King. That's promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com.
Traveling, you need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test
Steve Kane Show.
is located in the Sandalwood Plaza.
Steve Kane Show.
Is south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. 1-888-GO-KANE-1 is our number. When Biden came out with that feeble speech yesterday and then went into the thing about Beau and all this, and then he went to the questions, I mean, he's so checked out he can't even pull it off, right? Let's just play the clip. I know you've seen it. It's frightening.
They gave me a list here. The first person I was instructed to call on was Kelly O'Donnell, NBC.
Okay, the first person I was instructed to call on. Who's instructing the President of the United States ever? And, you know, Peter Doocy had an exchange at the end of the presser with Biden. That's when Biden put his head down and all of that. And I know Peter Doocy's a good guy, a great reporter. He asks very good questions. He holds them accountable. But with all due respect to Peter Doocy, he did not ask the right question to Biden. And in the Psaki interview, he didn't either. The question is, who is instructing the President of the United States on who to take questions from? And what is the process that those people are chosen? Here's what happened yesterday. The reason Biden didn't come out for so long. Those questions are submitted in advance to Jen Psaki from those reporters. Their questions are submitted in advance. Can you imagine? They spent the afternoon yesterday rehearsing with Biden the questions and the answers. And Jen Psaki and others from the staff played the role of those reporters. Now, we went rogue and called Doocy at the end. That's what they spent all day doing yesterday. That's what took so long, the rehearsal for the questions in advance. And I know people will say, well, it's Obama, it's this person, it's that person. No one instructs the President of the United States. They're supposed to be instructing everyone else. That alone is enough for the 25th Amendment to come in. And I was hoping Peter Doocy would ask that question at least to Jen Psaki. I would much like to have heard him ask it of Biden. Mr. President, who instructs you on who to call on in these press conferences? Did you get these questions in advance? Did you rehearse these questions? Also, who's instructing the person that's instructing you? What is the process that leads to these people getting on a list where you're instructed to call on them? Good morning, you're on the radio.
Brian?
Caller?
Hello?
Yes, hello?
This was all done on purpose by the Taliban, the bombings to keep the 1,500.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
What this is all about?
No, this was a Taliban attack. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, our own American civilians aren't able to get through these Taliban checkpoints, but somehow this guy did with wearing a bomb? Come on.
This is all done on purpose so we would stop the flow of our Americans going to the airport so they can keep them as hostages. That's what that's all about.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, I even think Biden said in his statement yesterday that everyone who wants to leave will be out. So they've been setting this up for a week, so everyone they leave behind, their story is going to be they wanted to stay behind to make a better Afghanistan.
Why would they want to stay behind? The banks are closed, the ATMs are closed,
Well, what American wants to stay behind in Afghanistan under the Taliban? That doesn't even make sense. That's just a stupid comment. Every American wants out. The Afghans want out, but certainly every American wants out.
It's just an excuse because they know they're hostages already.
Well, this is just like they did in Vietnam. They left our prisoners behind. The MIAs, a lot of them, they did the same thing in Vietnam. Now, this is worse because I think the numbers are larger. I don't know how many guys were left behind in Vietnam, but also back in those days, those MIAs, those POWs that were left behind, were not in communication with cell phones and emails and WhatsApp and everything else that people are using today. So they weren't. The U.S. government in '75 wasn't in contact with our people they left behind. So it was an unknown. These people, they're in contact with at least a huge chunk of them, and they're leaving them behind.
That's right.
Richie will say the same thing as me because we're both veterans.
Yeah.
Same thing I did.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about Biden yesterday? Is that scary?
Well, no, everything is. I think he's got earphones like the impractical jokers have in their ear.
Oh, really? You think somebody is telling him what to say? I don't think so. I'll tell you why. You know why I don't think so?
On the mic.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I know a lot of people are saying that he wears an earpiece. You know, when he picks up the list on who to call on, he can't even play that off. Like Norah O'Donnell, NBC News. He goes, "This is the list that I was instructed." And in his state, if he had an earpiece, he would reference it. So I don't think he has an earpiece.
No, but you're right about that. Who's instructing him to do anything?
I believe that there's a lot of people instructing him and running things, but I do believe he personally made the decision to pull out the troops. I think that was done on his own with that Chinese deal I've been talking about all week, so I'm not going to go through that again. He went rogue on that, but I think Jen Psaki is the go-between the White House and Obama. I think Jen Psaki directly speaks with Obama very regularly, maybe multiple times a day, and that the staff of the White House are being run by Obama through Jen Psaki.
The word "they," so it's a few people. He used the word "they" when he got up there.
Well, the instructing on who to take questions from, that list comes from Psaki, because she's the press secretary, and this, this is really outrageous. And I love Peter Doocy, but Peter Doocy's missing the boat on this. I'd like to see Doocy get into this issue because, someone's instructing the President of the United States. That's not how it goes. Now, people advise the President of the United States, and then they make a decision. No one instructs the President of the United States, at least not in theory.
The Secretary of Defense, the big black guy.
Yeah.
Spoken in 2 weeks.
Nah, he was out there last week, and incompetent as hell.
He was standing there. He was just standing there. He hasn't talked in 2 weeks.
No, that's not true. I've seen him. He gave. I watched him last week in 2 press conferences with Milley. He took questions. He didn't always have answers, and he's very confused, and he's a disaster. But he did do an interview. I can't remember who interviewed him, but he did an interview after those press conferences. In fact, he was the one who was leaking out information about leaving people behind. He screwed up. In fact, last week he said he's the one. Last week in the press conference, the Secretary of Defense said, "We don't have the ability to rescue our people behind the Taliban lines."
Well, Glenn Beck rescued 5,000 men and women and children.
Oh, Glenn Beck's doing the Lord's work over there. Yeah,
right.
He is. I got my problems with Glenn Beck, but he's saving lives. He's doing more than Biden. And they keep talking about this number of Americans. I don't believe it. I'm still watching the footage that they are releasing from the airport of people on the planes, walking to the planes, on the tarmac. They're all Afghans. They're wearing Afghanistan clothes, traditional Afghan clothing. I have not seen one American on an aircraft that was not in uniform. I've not seen one American at the airport who was not in uniform.
person online.
Yeah, these are not Americans. They're getting the Afghans out. I mean, I'd like to save them too, but it's Americans first.
The Afghans died from the bomb.
Is it number 140 now? Because the last I heard on my way in this morning was 90.
It's 140 now.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Take care, man. Thanks for the call. All right. Let's take our last break of the first hour. Our number 1-888-GO Kane 1-888-465-2631. Now, any lab test now of Boca, any lab test now of Coral Springs, open on Saturdays as well, by the way, no appointment necessary. They guarantee the lowest price on all of their thousands of lab tests. I go there for all my lab tests. My wife, my daughter go there for their lab tests, but they also are offering COVID testing, obviously, the lowest price on COVID testing anywhere. They have every COVID test you need, no matter you need it for work, you need it for school, you need it for travel. Sometimes there's different COVID tests that are needed for different things. And any lab test now of Coral Springs and Boca, they have them all. In most cases, you can get the results in 15 minutes or less right there on the spot. Steve and his wife and his son Tyler were exposed. One of Steve's kids and their entire family got the COVID, and they didn't know it. And they exposed Steve and his wife and his son Tyler, and they went over to any lab test now of Coral Springs. They obviously were concerned. They don't want to get COVID. Who wants to get COVID? And there was a lot of anxiety and panic going on. They went over there in 15 minutes. All three of them had the result, which was negative. And they do the antibody test too. I've been tested about half a dozen times, and it's good peace of mind just to know. And they give you a printout. So you can take that printout to work. Your kids can take it to school. You take it to the airport or to the port. You know, you take it to work and show everyone that you are negative. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalwood Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough. They're on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood over by the Coral Square Mall. No appointment necessary, just walk right in. Now listen, there's lots of any lab test nows around. But any lab test now of Coral Springs and any lab test now of Boca are the only two that are advertising on the Steve Kane Radio Show. So you want to use those two. All right, guys, we'll finish up the break and be right back. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. Don't go anywhere.
Steve Kane radio listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
Steve Kane Show. No.
Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your car that your car doesn't need. And their prices are low. Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Give them a call. 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right, and you know, Steve does the house calls with the Soul Authority, and they have two offices. They have, you know, Steve lives in Cooper City. That's where he broadcasts from. They have an office in Pembroke Pines. And they also have an office in, is it Margate? Yeah, up there. And so if you're within the listening range of our radio stations, give them a call. Steve has been using, it's very convenient to use house calls. He's not far from the office, but he still does the house calls just because the convenience. And the doctor, she comes right to your house. So it's pretty cool, pretty good deal. All right, back to the phones. 1-888-GIL-KANE-1. I'm talking about this checked out Biden press conference. Oh, here's something that I don't know how many people picked up on this, but this really shows you how checked out Biden is. Listen to this. He's talking about how he communicates with his generals.
The chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the commanders in the field have all contacted me one way or another, usually by letter.
Letter?
Saying they subscribe to the mission as designed.
By letter? Man, even Abraham Lincoln in the Civil War had a faster means of communication with the generals than letter. He was using the telegraph. I'm assuming he's talking about email. I don't know what the hell he's talking about, but he's communicating by letter with our generals. You know what they call letters now, right? You know what they call that? Snail mail. If you ever hear anyone use that term snail mail, they're talking about actually mailing something. All right, Richie the bus driver, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, good morning. You know, Brian, probably, I watch this 24/7 because I don't work. And you watch it probably 23/7 because you're on the air here for 3 hours. I'm watching this yesterday when I saw the general who's in charge of Afghanistan.
That was scary as Biden.
I knew what was coming because he sat there and first of all he said this could happen again today and we're prepared for it. So you're sending people to the slaughterhouse. We as a military man, we should be in control of those checkpoints, not the Taliban.
Well, and then we find out today, it's been confirmed, that these brilliant generals that we have that went to Woke University gave the names, addresses, and cell phone numbers of all the Americans behind enemy lines, as well as the Afghans who worked with us, to the Taliban, who let this terrorist through yesterday from ISIS-K, this new super villain organization. They're calling it a kill list that they gave to the Taliban, and it's being reported that the Taliban are using that list to round people up.
You see, if we're at the check, yeah, you're right. If we're at the checkpoint, maybe the Marine or whoever's checking, he might get killed. Okay, not for nothing. I mean that's important, but not 29 military people who are outside with probably 100 people.
Well, the reason these Marines were killed in such large, they were patting this guy down. So something about this guy set them off. How did, you know what I mean, to do this? How the hell did he get through the Taliban checkpoint? They let him through.
The checkpoint don't care.
Well, this was a Taliban attack is what I'm trying to say. They knew what the guy was all about.
You're fighting people for 20 years and you're putting them in charge of your security.
And not only that's what I said at the start of the show, that the average Taliban fighter was born after 9/11. They don't know a world without being at war with America. So after a 20-year war, which is the fighter's entire lifetime, all of a sudden there are partners in peace? Are you kidding me? And we're giving them classified intel?
Yeah, this is like, you couldn't make this up if you wanted to destroy the United States.
You know, this is a difficult show for me to do right now because it's surreal. I feel like I'm high or something. Like what I saw yesterday with Biden, what's going on, can't be happening. It's hard to accept that. I'm in shock. I'm really numb and in shock.
I watched him come out, okay, and listen, if he was pulled over by any police officer driving a car, they would have had the car towed because they would have said you're too medicated or too drunk or something. He's so medicated, he's so lethargic and so slow in his speech. He's slurring all over. I mean,
and you know they pump him up with something to energize him.
He's not even. No, I think he looked tranquilized.
He did, didn't he?
Oh my God! They gave him a downer yesterday, my friend.
Well, they gave him the wrong pill then.
Absolutely, and I'm looking at this, and you know what hit me? What struck me more than anything? When he said they gave me this list.
Who to call? They instructed me. They instructed me, he said.
They instructed me. They are the people that are in instructing the show, and I believe it's his incompetent cabinet. And I think that you didn't see him for all those hours, not just for rehearsal, but for total control. Because everything they do, they destroy. And then they got to come out with damage control. Psaki didn't have her press conference all day long. I looked at it. She was supposed to come out at 12.
Yeah, because she was probably playing the Obama-promoted generals. And they are incompetent. They're woke. They're extremely liberal. They have no idea what they're doing. I don't care how many tours they did in Afghanistan or Iraq. I've never seen such weak military leadership.
Okay, in closing for me, okay, when I drove the bus, I used to go over to Fort Lauderdale Airport. I used to go over that bridge leading into the Fort Lauderdale Airport. I know you're aware of that, the road night going in. And I used to watch the cars that were parked waiting to pick up people, and the police used to have to come and move them. But
yeah.
Things slowed down after 9/11, and I couldn't even get into Port Everglades after 9/11. Okay, and I used to say to myself, now we have TSA at the ticketing all over the country, but in the lobbies, where people are buying tickets and picking up their luggage, there are thousands of people in all.
Well, that's what happened, and we had that attack.
Well, yeah, when you see the airport with our military, 5,000 troops there, and we call that sitting ducks. Every airport in the United States has become.
All right, all right, Richie. I don't know why you would get into that, but it's 7 o'clock. Let's take our break. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back after this.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
It's here, the hot weather. It's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day, and that's what the actual temperature is. The heat index, much higher than that. That means your air conditioner is going to work harder and harder, driving up your electric bill. And on the line, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, who's going to save you big, big money on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it, Scott.
Hey, Brian. Well, we do it with the radiant barrier insulation and making sure that none of your air conditioning goes leaking in your attic. But I have Rebecca on the line with me, who's a longtime Steve Kane listener, and we had the pleasure of going up and doing a whole attic package for her at her house on Wednesday of this week. And we put all new ducts in for radiant barrier and all new insulation. And she just wants to tell you how her experience was.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew, were very, very polite, and they did the work. It's a very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old ducts, come in and put in all new ducts, extra additional ducts to make my system work better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect, so I'm familiar with what the cost should be and how much time it takes to do everything. And let me tell you, I was very impressed, and my attic looks like a spaceship up there with all new
Steve Kane Show.
The metal duct that was insulated and leaking on my ceiling, and they put in flex duct, which is what we use now in the industry. But let me tell you, what I paid for the entire package should have cost just to remove the old ductwork and install new ductwork, and I got everything for less than what I thought.
Well, that's amazing. And when Scott from Cut My Kilowatts brings that radiant barrier into your attic, it pays for itself, because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house cool and comfortable for you, which means you have lower electrical bills. It works. Listen, guys, give Scott at Cut My Kilowatts a call. His number's listed at SteveKaneShow.com, as is his website if you miss it. His number, which rings directly to him, 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. That's Scott from Cut My Kilowatts.
The Steve Kane 2022 MAGA Cruise is a go. Leaving January 21st on the Celebrity Equinox out of Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. Join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, for 9 nights cruising the Caribbean. We will stop in Grand Cayman Island, Bonaire, Curacao, and Aruba. Reserve your cabin right now and call Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work.
Wesley, $5 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thank Wesley. Biden should be trying for war crimes. I don't know. Is he mentally fit to stand a trial? You know?
Southeast corner of University Drive in Randall, 8083. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
All right, we're coming back.
That excites them, but I'm hoping I'm wrong because this is terrible.
It is.
And I think everybody, like you said, is being find out where they are, and as soon as we leave, anybody's left over, that's the end of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It is certainly that. There's no about getting around it. And you know, this new supervillain organization they have, Special K, ISIS K. Have you ever heard of ISIS K? Come on, ISIS K.
ISIS K. I know. Come on. This is Taliban 100%, and then they say, oh, of course, what are you going to say? Oh, we didn't know it. You know, it's typical. We don't take...
Yeah. Hey, Doug, take care. Thanks for the call. So, we heard from President Trump twice yesterday, and President Trump was with Hannity last night, talking about everything that's going on. So let's go through that now. I mean, we need to hear from someone, a president who knows what the hell's going on, who's not instructed on who to talk to and what to say. This is President Trump last night. You hear a little bit of Hannity in this, too.
But what is your reaction to sticking to this artificial deadline and your reaction to the idea of accepting a notion that we leave Americans behind?
So they gave this list of Americans to the Taliban, who we've been fighting for many, many years. And they're tough fighters, they're good fighters, but now they can be much better because they have the best equipment in the world, and so much of it they don't know what to do. They'll be selling it on the open market. But we gave that to these people, and ISIS-X, as you know, I knocked out 100% of the ISIS caliphate. I knocked it out. In Syria, Iraq, we knocked it out. So now they have a new ISIS called ISIS-X, and that's members of the Taliban that are far more vicious because they don't like the way the Taliban speak, because they're not vicious enough. So this is Taliban fighters that are much more vicious, and we're using the Taliban and giving lists of Americans to the Taliban. So now you just knock on the door and grab them and take them out. This country has never seen stupidity like this, and our country is really in trouble. Our country is really in trouble, and it's only going to get worse. What you're watching now is only going to get worse. It can only go one way. We had something where they didn't get near us. They were petrified of us. I let them know that if they do anything, we hit them right where it hurts, which is their homes. And they know it, and they were waiting for us. They would have been very happy to let us go and take every American and anybody else we want to take our equipment. And for some reason, he botched the plan and took the military out first. Now, it's a very sad day for our country and a great embarrassment. Beyond embarrassment, it's a very dangerous day for our country.
Mr. President, let me go, because Joe Biden brought it up in his exchange with our own Peter Doocy today, and that is that he inherited your plan, and I want to go over it because I had both Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, also former CIA director, and I had your Chief of Staff Mark Meadows on my radio show. They've both been on this television show, and they went into great detail about what your plan was. And maybe the Biden administration, the Democrats love to release transcripts of calls. I would love this one to be released. that in no uncertain terms, not once, but on numerous occasions, but before any negotiation began, that you got on the phone with the leader of the Taliban and you made it as clear as day. You reminded him about killing Baghdadi and his associates, and you reminded him about killing Soleimani, and you reminded him about the caliphate that you destroyed. You reminded him about killing the Al-Qaeda leader in Yemen, and that you said that if they didn't follow, these are their words, every I, every T crossed, every I dotted, every comma and period, that you would obliterate them and use every means available to you to do that. And you brought this up at the beginning and numerous times throughout the process. Also, that your deal was conditions on the ground based, and it included you keeping control of Pagram Air Force Base. Can you tell us first about the call and then the deal?
Okay, now we'll get to the back to Trump in a second, but Hannity laid it all out. And this business that the Biden administration are trying to pass, that they're just going along with Trump's plan, is a complete lie. You just heard what Trump's plan was. Much different than what this is. And how could this guy undo everything Trump did except this one thing that leads to death? Come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. All right, back to Trump.
Tell us first about the call and then the deal.
Well, it was a tough call, and it started out by saying that they will be hit harder than any country has ever been hit in the history of the world if they do anything, and in particular kill our soldiers or even try to kill our soldiers. And even Biden admitted today that the reason they didn't kill any soldiers, that we haven't lost soldiers in many, many months, because of the agreement that we signed, because I wanted to get out. I wish we never went in. The biggest mistake we made in the history of our country was going into the Middle East. I call it quicksand. And we went into the Middle East, and we shouldn't have been there. We blew it to pieces, and now we're leaving. And because of what they're doing, we're leaving in disgrace. We could have left with great dignity. We could have left with safety. We could have taken everybody with us that we wanted, all of the great American citizens and people that helped us, whether it's interpreters or others. But we could have taken them out very easily, and we wouldn't have had a rush, because the Taliban was not going anywhere. We had them totally under control. Every time we saw movement, we'd hit them with an F-18, and the movement stopped. But we had very little of that, because Abdul, who I spoke to, who turns out to be the leader, Abdul would not let anybody do anything. And I can tell you what happened, in my opinion. They went to him and the other leaders, and they said, the American military is leaving. They're pulling out. And they were probably looked at the people that said it and said, you gotta be, there's no way that's happening. There's absolute, I'm telling you, they're leaving. They couldn't believe it. And then they sent some fighters in, and there was zero resistance before they got blown away. Zero resistance. And then they sent the whole group in, and you had thousands, tens of thousands of Taliban. And then on top of it, they went into the warehouses and they sold this equipment and they took it. You see them marching down the streets now with brand new, the best rifles, better than our soldiers have. It's a disgrace, and it's about the withdrawal. It's not about getting out, because getting out is something I've wanted to do for a long time. And they're right when they say a lot of generals didn't. By the way, we have great generals in our military, but not the television generals, not the guys you see on television. You look at what I did with ISIS and how we beat them. We beat them with great generals. We had great, great leadership. We have the greatest military in the world, but we look like a bunch of fools. What happened, what they've done, is incredible. So they walked in without a bullet being shot, without a bullet being fired. They walked in and they took over Kabul, and they took over everything else. And if you look back at a timeline, we held them totally steady. But I wanted to get out, but we had to get out with dignity. We had to take our $80 billion worth of equipment. We had to do all of the things that you know we had to do. And then I would have blown up all the air bases, but I would have kept Bagram, because Bagram's located right next to China, right near China and Iran, and it's in Afghanistan. So we had the whole group covered. They spent $10 billion building it, and we handed out the keys. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Okay, and that base is where our permanent military presence was going to be under President Trump. That's resolve. That's a real president. Not what we got going on right now. You guys miss Trump, I know. You know, if you're not wearing your MAGA hats on, get them on. You know, I have, you know, President Trump's new. Oh, wow, I'm looking outside. There is a beautiful rainbow right outside the window. Oh, wow, out west. It looks like the rainbow's over there by Friendly Tire. I'm looking where it's the beginning of the rainbow by Friendly Tire. You know, this is a very important time for you guys to get your Trump gear out. I have a Save America hat. It's Trump's new campaign slogan for 2024. And I don't wear the Save America hat because I don't think enough people know about it yet. I know some were wearing it at the rally last Saturday. I wear my MAGA hat, and I'm wearing one now. The MAGA hat I'm wearing now, it says Make America Great Again as big as possible on this hat so that you can see me a mile away. And let me tell you, I wear this hat all over town. I get nothing but compliments. Usually when people say, nice hat, I like your hat, all over the place. I haven't received any negativity when I'm out and about wearing this hat. But it's time, because I know some of you have put your MAGA hats away. Get them out. If you need a new one, order it online and start wearing it. People need to see it. People need to see the support of President Trump. And I'll tell you another thing. All these people that undermine Trump, whether it's Michael Avenatti or George Bush or Romney or Cheney or Ryan or Chris Wallace, I should say, anyone who was a never-Trumper, anyone who had all these Russia hoax and phony impeachments going, they're as responsible for the events of yesterday as Biden is. Biden's ultimately responsible, but they are all responsible. They all have a shared responsibility because they did nothing but undermine. Some of these Republicans voted for Biden. Okay? A lot of them. They have responsibility in what happened yesterday. And don't let them forget that. This is what happened, and it's going to get worse. This is just the beginning. Now, I want to tell you guys, do you have a MyPillow bathrobe yet? I have a MyPillow bathrobe. My wife has a MyPillow bathrobe. And the MyPillow bathrobes, 30% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. They were out of stock for quite some time because they're so popular. They have all the robes back in stock. And they have many more colors, sizes and styles for both men and women. They have a lot of new colors out. Wow. A lot of new colors. And they also have a couple different types of robes. They have robes for both men and women, and they are different. My wife has hers as ladies, mine's a men's. They have a heavier robe, and they also have a light robe now. They have one that's a little lighter. So go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, and save 30% off your MyPillow bathrobe. I've worn mine a few times here on the air and to show everyone on YouTube. It is a great robe, and you know, everything Mike Lindell makes is very high quality. And I have washed my robe so many times and dried it, and it looks like the day it arrived in the mail every time. Also, the MyPillow dog beds, just $19.99 with the promo code KANE. I ordered a second one, and I used the promo code KANE as well, K-A-N-E. And the reason is my wife has a desk where she sits at her computer. The dog always wants to be over there, and we keep the dog bed in the bedroom. So all day I'm taking the dog bed, I'm moving it to where my wife is, and then at night I got tired of moving the dog bed all the time. So we just ordered another one. You know, it's just $19.99 with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. All these things make great gifts too. And Mike Lindell has lowered the price on so many of his items right now. This is the time to start doing your Christmas shopping. I'm here to tell you, I've got some MyPillow products at home that my wife and I have bought that we're going to give out as Christmas gifts, because some of these things are the lowest price ever. And I have a huge announcement to make, a humongous announcement to make to you that I'm going to talk about throughout the show today. Mike Lindell's office called me yesterday and told me about this, and this will blow your mind. They've done something amazing for us. And this is one that you will want to take advantage of, because this one's not going to last. They're going to run out of stock. Go to mypillow.com and click the radio listener specials. You'll see all these specials I'm talking about. But here's the new one, the MyPillow slippers. This is amazing. Now, I have the MyPillow slippers. They come in many different styles for both men and women and in many different colors. I have the tan moccasin slippers. When I get home every day, I take off my shoes and put them on. I wear them all day. And when I wake up in the morning, I put them on too until I leave the house. Listen to this. This is amazing. Now, you get mypillow.com. Click the radio listener specials. The MyPillow My Slippers with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. Save 50% off the MyPillow slippers, but you've got to use the promo code KANE. 50% off, K-A-N-E, at checkout. It's a great deal. So go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener specials, save 50% off the MyPillow My Slippers with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, 800-716-4879. Take advantage of this now because this one is not going to last. Save 50% off the MyPillow slippers right now. MyPillow.com, the radio listener specials, promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. And again, you can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. It's a great deal, and you'll be hearing me talking about it all day for the rest of the program because big deal, 50% off with the promo code KANE. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor.
Did any of you guys see the interview with the cop that shot Ashley Babbitt? Oh my goodness.
We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course. We'll assist in anything to help you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office. The number 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Or go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back. 24 minutes after the hour. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We've been talking about this just frightening press conference with Biden yesterday, but I got to say, I watched this morning the Lester Holt interview with the Capitol police officer that shot Ashley Babbitt. Now, I want to, have any of you seen this interview? If you have, please give me a call and share your thoughts. I found it so disturbing. I watched the whole thing. I watched it this morning right before I left the house to come to the radio station. unedited. I watched the whole thing, and it was difficult to watch. You know, as conservatives, we of course support the police, but this guy did not even give a warning to Ashley Babbitt, an unarmed woman. Now, she was breaking the law. She was breaking and entering. Maybe some vandalism. I don't know. There were some charges certainly there. But she was unarmed, and you know what? All of the people that went in the Capitol that day were unarmed. All of them. No one's been charged with insurrection. In fact, the FBI investigation has not only cleared President Trump, but cleared MAGA. They said there was no organized MAGA plot or Trump plot involved in the incident. About a week or so ago, that report came out. I've never seen an incident where the left in the American media supported a police officer shooting anyone before. And, you know, someone like George Floyd, that was, you know, it was a terrible incident with George Floyd. But George Floyd was a lifetime criminal. Or what about Michael Brown? Remember Michael Brown in Ferguson? Michael Brown was led a life of crime. His entire life. And when people that are lifelong criminals commit crimes, resist police, attack police, whatever the incident is, and police officers have to use deadly force or choose to use deadly force, whatever happens, they're out there to destroy the life of the police officer. No questions asked. Look at Derek Chauvin. He's in prison. He'll never leave prison. Ashley Babbitt was an unarmed woman. She was certainly breaking the law. But I've never seen someone shot for burglary and vandalism before. There wasn't even a warning. Stop or I'll shoot. No stun guns. No mace. Nothing. And I watched that interview, and for the life of me, I don't understand why he did it. Why do you think this guy gave the interview? It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Was he trying to get publicity for something? You know, the only thing I could think of is that the Democrats got him to do it to try to change the media narrative off of Afghanistan. Now, the interview was set up and done before yesterday's events, but for the life of me, I can't understand it. And this guy is an incompetent. I don't know how he became a lieutenant. We can only speculate on it, but this guy's a lieutenant. I mean, he had this incident where he left his service revolver in a men's room at the Capitol building, which is a secure building. And those of you that are police officers, if an officer leaves their service revolver in a men's room, a public men's room, especially in a secure facility like the Capitol, would they still be a lieutenant when that was over? I don't know. That's a pretty severe thing to do. So the guy is irresponsible and incompetent, and he shot an unarmed woman dead, and a U.S. veteran who never committed a crime in her life before that day. And he's being treated as if he's some hero. I'm surprised he's not been made the chief of police for the Capitol Police. I'm surprised he's still a lieutenant and hasn't made captain yet. They just cleared him on his inquiry. Reality is, you know, the left, you know, the positions they take on police when deadly force is used all the time, like in the Chauvin incident, is because they like to stir up racial hatred and things around election time. You notice since the election is over and we're not in an election year yet, you're not hearing stories about confrontations between cops and police officers these days, right? They save that until it's an election year to try to stir up racial hatred to get blacks to go out to the polls and vote Democrat. That's why you're not seeing what's changed. Nothing's changed. They're just not hyping up these stories. Now, I went long in that last break, so I'm going to take this break on time so that we can be on time for the rest of the show. If I go late on this break, after I went late on the last one. It'll be a traffic jam of commercial breaks for the rest of the show, so we don't want to do that. If you're on hold, stand by. I will go to the phones after the break. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on all these topics, both the Ashley Babbitt cop and everything that happened with Biden and what's going on in Afghanistan today. My name is Brian. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere.
Here, the hot weather, it's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day. And
Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Is going to save you big money on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it, Scott.
Hey, Brian. Well, we do it with the radiant barrier installation and making sure that none of your air conditioning ducts are leaking into your attic. But I have Rebecca on the line with me, who's a longtime Steve Kane listener, and we had the pleasure of going up and doing a whole attic package for her at her house on Wednesday of this week, and we put all new ducts in for radiant barrier and all new insulation, and she just wants to tell you how her experience was.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew were very, very polite, and they did the work. A very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old ducts, come in and put in all new ducts. It's extra additional ducts to make my system work better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect, so I'm familiar with what the cost could be and how much time it takes to do everything. And let me tell you, I was very impressed, and my attic looks like a spaceship up there with all new ducts. They took out the metal duct that was insulated and leaking on my ceiling, and they put in flex stuff, which is what we use now in the industry. But let me tell you, what I paid for the entire package should have cost just to remove the old ductwork and install new ductwork, and I got everything for less than what I thought.
Well, that's amazing. And when Scott from Cut My Kilowatts brings that radiant barrier into your attic, it pays for itself, because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house cool and comfortable for you, which means you have lower electrical bills. It works. Listen, guys, give Scott at Cut My Kilowatts a call. His number's listed at SteveKaneShow.com, as is his website if you miss it. His number, which rings directly to him, 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. That's Scott from Cut My Kilowatts.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Oh, man. Hey, guys, welcome back. Steve will be joining us after the top of the hour break. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Our number, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. Good morning. You're on the radio. Good morning. Once. I'm thinking this is the liberal response. Twice. All right, you don't get the third time. I tell you, the liberal response. Americans are being killed. And listen to this story from MSNBC. This guy should be fired. You heard of a guy, he's on MSNBC all the time, so a lot of you may not have heard of him. His name is Michael Nance. He's got a blue check mark on Twitter. He tweeted this yesterday. This is a guy who is at MSNBC. Listen to this. He tweeted this. This is an MSNBC regular pundit. MSNBC should drop this guy in a heartbeat. 20 years. FYI, there have been terrorist suicide bombers killing civilians nearly daily in Afghanistan. This ain't new. It's why we are leaving. Hashtag deal with it. American Marines and a sailor are dead. And he says, hashtag deal with it. What happened yesterday on Twitter was amazing. We were talking yesterday about how we haven't heard liberals calling the show in the last week or so. Since this business in Afghanistan happened, liberals are in hibernation because things are so bad. They can't call in and defend it. And when this event happened yesterday, within minutes, a trending hashtag across America was impeach Biden and impeach Biden now. Boom, almost instantly. And that was an organic hashtag that happened because people were firing up Twitter. And there was and I was looking at these comments even into the afternoon yesterday, and there were no liberal responses on Twitter. It's like liberals were not even on Twitter yesterday. And then later, as the afternoon went on, all of a sudden this hashtag deal with it started popping up, where the Democrats hit Twitter, tried to change the narrative without success. This is not a partisan day. Now, President Trump, he didn't just go on Hannity. He released something I've not seen him do since he left office. He released a video statement in response to the, I'm going to say, Taliban terrorist attack, frankly, on U.S. forces, because, our own Americans can't get through Taliban checkpoints. People with credentials, with U.S. visas, can't get through Taliban checkpoints. But somehow, a guy with a bomb strapped to him got through Taliban checkpoints? Come on. And how many checkpoints did he go through? The Taliban let him through. They knew what was going on. So this is President Trump's statement, which is a little different than Biden's yesterday on the event. Listen.
One nation, America, mourns the loss of our brave and brilliant American service members in a savage and barbaric terrorist attack in Afghanistan. These noble American warriors laid down their lives in the line of duty. They sacrificed themselves for the country that they loved, racing against time to rescue their fellow citizens from harm's way. They died as American heroes, and our nation will honor their memory forever. I want to express my deepest condolences to the families of those we have lost. Today, all Americans grieve alongside you. Together, we also pray that God will heal the other courageous American service members who were wounded in this heinous attack. In addition, our hearts are with the families of all the innocent civilians who died, and with the many men, women, and children who were terribly injured in this act of evil. This tragedy should never have taken place. It should never have happened, and it would not have happened if I were your president.
No doubt.
For the past few weeks, I know that many Americans have felt profound sorrow and even pain watching the events taking place in Afghanistan, and perhaps none more so than the veterans of that 20-year war. Many of them answered the call proudly and without hesitation after the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001. Every American who served in Afghanistan has made tremendous sacrifices for our country. On behalf of your fellow citizens, I want you to know that those sacrifices were not made in vain. We know what you did, we know how brave you were, and we thank you, we salute you, and we honor you for all time. I hope that every American will join me in continuing to pray for the safe return of all U.S. citizens and soldiers from Afghanistan in the coming days. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
See, I mean, that's amazing. Guys, here's the thing, okay, about Biden yesterday and the dangers of Biden. It's not just because he's corrupt and feeble and checked out mentally. That in itself is a danger. Biden has started a whole new war. We won the war on terror, and this is war on terror 2. The war on terror has been over for a while. This is war on terror 2. No doubt about it. World War I, World War II, about the same, that's what this is. And Biden started it. And when he came out yesterday and he was checked out, didn't know what the freak was going on, he put his head down, and all that for it seemed like eternity. What that told the terrorist is America's out. We're out of the loop now. They can do whatever it is they want to do. There's not going to be a response, no resolve. And this ISIS-K, I don't buy this ISIS-K crap, okay? ISIS-K? What the hell is that? I know there's an article in the New York Post that breaks down what ISIS-K is. I'm not going to go through it. This is crap. It's all ISIS. It's all Al-Qaeda. It's all the Taliban, okay? They're all one big group. That's like saying, if you're talking about U.S. forces, the Army does something, but the rest of the military have nothing to do with it. They're a unified force, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, ISIS-K, which I heard of for the first time yesterday. Can you believe, in that Hannity interview, Trump misspoke, and he said ISIS-X. And there were actual news articles attacking President Trump for saying ISIS-X, which he did correct. He says he meant ISIS-K. He said they'll probably have an X, the way things are going. He misspeaks ISIS-K, ISIS-X, and Biden. Where are the articles in the mainstream media about the danger that we now face with Biden? Don Jr., who you guys, if you don't follow Don Jr. on Twitter, you should. He comments on everything in real time, and he's very funny. Yesterday, Don Jr. tweeted early in the day. He tweeted after the attack. He said, is it now time we can talk about impeachment? I'm asking for a friend who was impeached over a phone call. That was pretty profound. Good morning. Yes, you're on the Andrea. Good morning.
Brian, what you're actually saying is a government intentionally destroying the country. That's the only thing I say. Is they're doing this 100% intentionally. And this is how you know. So Biden gave Russia a list of utilities that they shouldn't have. Now Biden gave the Taliban a list of American citizens. This is a government intentionally betraying the people and destroying the country. And I watched Biden do his press conference yesterday, and my takeaway from it was it's 100,000% disingenuous.
Yeah.
He doesn't care, and this is how you know they don't care. Because Nancy Pelosi's out there doing events, a women's event. Kamala Harris is very focused on making sure that we have to try to improve, shipping times so children have toys for Christmas, and she's going out there to...
Well, when I think of toys, I think of the Marine Corps toy drive, that I always see at the malls, and then we lost these Marines yesterday. This government, you talk about Kamala with the toy drive, and that event with Pelosi yesterday made me physically ill. When I first saw that, I couldn't believe that was yesterday. And that was out in San Francisco. So they're 3 hours. So they know it was. I mean, come on. What kind of sense do you have? And she's Speaker of the House, which means she gets the same briefings as the president gets all day. And even though she was fully briefed, and they knew right in the beginning, because right after the attack, Charlie Kirk tweeted that he has information that the 3 Marines are dead. That was right after the attack, and Charlie. So if Charlie Kirk knew, Pelosi knew, and Kamala knew, and Pelosi went out with that Women's Day speech bragging about the great liberals of San Francisco. I couldn't believe it.
Because, like I said, you're watching the government actively destroy this country intentionally. This is intentional. So,
I mean, how intentional can Biden be? Yesterday, come on.
1,000% intentional, because he is all about his biggest donor becoming the world.
Yeah, China, his employer. I'm more like his employer. He's like a cop that's working for the mob. You know, this is the thing though with Biden yesterday. That's what he did yesterday with that bizarre sideline talking about Beau Biden. He was trying to make people feel sorry for him. And what the hell when he put his head down when he was talking to Ducey?
All fake.
No, I wish if it was fake, I wouldn't. No, if it was fake, I wouldn't be so scared. Biden was not fake yesterday. They spent all day yesterday trying to pump him up and get him prepared for a press event. The reason he was not out there for, was it 8 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 7 hours? 8 hours after the event is because they were trying to pump him up so he could come out and do an event. If it was this, I wish that what Biden was doing was faking. He was not faking. If he was faking, he wouldn't have put his head down like that. He wouldn't have been so lost.
He did not mention the families of the fallen, but when the George Floyd situation went down, you heard George Floyd's name all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. He had his family to the White House. Kamala Harris visit somebody in the hospital.
Yeah, but see, there's a difference. See, yesterday, what happened, the Fox News White House correspondent, I've forgotten her name, the woman with the short hair, she's great. I can't think of her name offhand, but she said yesterday early on that she had seen the video, and she says it's hard for her to watch. And that's before what we've seen was released. And she's been a Pentagon reporter for years, so she's seen a lot of footage. And I saw some of it, too, of the civilians. It looked like a slaughterhouse. What happened to Biden yesterday, whatever condition, we don't know what condition he has. People speculate. We know he's got some type of dementia. Whatever he has is severely aggravated by stress. And the stress of yesterday's events caused whatever condition he has to act up. And they spent those 8 hours trying to energize him and prep him so he could come out and look decent. And it looked like they gave him a sleeping pill. That's the best they could do after 8 hours. That's not if he was faking, he wouldn't put his head down. He wouldn't say, I've been instructed to call on these people. He would fake that. He would just call on them. He wouldn't say, I have this list of the people I've been instructed to call on. He would just fake it and say, Norah O'Donnell, NBC News. No, we should be so lucky that he was faking it.
Talk about that for a second. Talk about that. When in history of the United States did the questions have to go through the press room in order for the president to answer?
Well, they have done this. They did this with Obama. I found this out during Obama. It came out, and I did not know this, that at the White House, now they didn't do this for Trump. This is not the case when Trump was president, but there's always cooperation between the Democrats and the press and the White House. The daily press briefing with Psaki and the daily press briefings with Obama, they give the questions in advance to them. And then what you see on television is a reenactment. It's a scripted play, So they've done this with Democrats for a long, long time. The difference is Biden is so checked out, he can't fake even that. I've seen him in 2 press events in the last couple of days. The one the other day, he says, as usual, I have a list telling me who to call on, he said the other day. He can't even fake that. No, I wish, the reason I say I wish he was faking it is because at least I know he's mentally competent. And he's not mentally competent. And shame on Jill Biden. Jill Biden could save us by telling her husband. Now, again, I don't know. If my first thought is, as bad as Kamala is, we would be better off with her because she's with it mentally, as stupid as she is. But then, my wife was telling me last night, Kamala would have to prove to everyone no man's going to tell her what to do. And she's as liable to act out in as much incompetence as Biden and ignore all the advice because she's got to be all about girl power and female empowerment and not doing what men tell her to do. We're in a dangerous situation in this country, very dangerous.
South Girl Power and search the slides. Where are they about all these women in Afghanistan?
They don't give a damn. All they're worried about right now is themselves. You know, they're Biden and Kamala, how are they going to get through this news cycle? That's what I was telling you. The Ashley Babbitt, the cop that shot Ashley Babbitt, did this interview with Lester Holt last night. Now, that interview was done before yesterday's event, but I think they did the interview to try to get Afghanistan off the news. And if it was not for yesterday's event, I would probably have played some of that interview on the show today. But I'm not. I did watch it. I talked about it. But, you know, that would dominate. If it wasn't for the terrorist attack that the Taliban's responsible for at the Alamo, as I'm calling it, the airport over there, that's probably would be the main focus of today's program. I think it was another attempt to change the media narrative. And then the ISIS-Taliban attack yesterday foiled that. Hey, Andrea, I got a break, but thanks for calling. Those of you on hold, don't go anywhere, all right? I'll take some more calls after the break. Steve Kane will be joining us at the top of the hour. And I got to tell you, this is one of the most difficult shows I've ever done. I was telling this to a caller. I just say this to you before we break. The reason this show is difficult for me is because Biden scared me yesterday. That press conference scared me, and I'm so numb. I'm in shock that this is really happening. I'm almost feeling like I'm in some kind of psychedelic out-of-body experience. It's hard for me to believe that what is happening is happening. That we are leaving, by the Biden numbers, 1,500 American civilians behind. I think the number is much larger. But they're even telling us 1,500 American civilians, unarmed, are going to be left behind. And, hey, our mission will be accomplished. I just can't believe that's happening. Let's take our last break of the hour. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be right back.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at
Steve Kane Show.
in Margate, where they have all the major brands.
Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops.
Oh, yeah. They're saying 1,500. It's more like 15,000. Yeah, you got to add a zero there.
Savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire.
Oh, my voice isn't synced. I'm in like a Chinese kung fu movie from the 70s. I'm going to refresh my feed, guys. Okay, so give me a minute. Let me hit another commercial. Then I'm going to refresh my feed and see if it helps.
954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
It's here, the hot weather. It's in the mid-90s.
Better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect, so I'm familiar with what the cost could be and how much time it takes to do everything. And let me tell you, I was very impressed. And my attic looks like a spaceship up there with all new duct. They took out the metal duct that was insulated and leaking on my ceiling, and they put in flex stuff, which is what we use now.
All right, let's see if we're matched up now, or do I still look like a kung fu movie? All right. I don't look like a dubbed kung fu movie anymore.
When Scott from Cut My Kilowatts brings that radiant barrier into your attic, it pays for itself because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house cool and comfortable for you, which means you have lower electrical bills. It works. Listen, guys, give Scott at Cut My Kilowatts a call. His number's listed at SteveKaneShow.com, as is his website if you miss it. His number, which rings directly to him, 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. That's Scott from Cut My Kilowatts.
Listen to the Steve Kane
Yeah, my wife sent me a text message about the sinking of the mouth. Hey guys, welcome back. It is 5 minutes before 8. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show. Steve Kane will be joining us after the top of the hour break. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Let's go back to our phones. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
This is Joey from Delaware.
Hey, Joey.
Good morning. I'd just like to bring up a couple of points. Biden is forever making remarks that he inherited this situation in Afghanistan. And, so Trump inherited it from Obama inherited it from Bush. And so what is his significance?
No. Trump resolved it. Trump had resolved it.
It was going on when Trump took office.
Well, of course. I mean, things are going on, but he resolved the situation in Afghanistan, and Biden blew it up.
Yeah, well, that's his remark of constantly referring to his inheritance of the situation was purely a cop-out. I'm sure people can see that.
Well, he said the buck stops with me, and then he went on to blame Trump. He rescinded every order Trump ever gave, except the timeline and everything. Come on.
Yeah, he's an expert double talker, I'll tell you. When he was answering Peter Ducey, and he bent over the podium, I'm not sure that instills confidence.
You're talking about when he put his head down, when he didn't get.
Yeah. I don't know how most people perceive that. To me.
Well, I'll say this about Biden, okay? Biden, he started by saying that I've been instructed to call on these people. Ducey was not on the list. And he went rogue and took Ducey. And he had what I consider to be the worst moment, and that's when he put his head down for a while, because he didn't get the answers he wanted. And what that press conference did yesterday, we weren't the only ones watching. The Taliban, and that was a Taliban attack yesterday, let's be honest. The Taliban, this new super villain they have, ISIS-K, they were watching that, and that they started high-fiving each other, if they high-five in the Muslim world, whatever their equivalent is, because they know America. Our enemies are all united against us: Russia, China, Taliban, Al-Qaeda, ISIS. America has never been this weak and will never be this weak again, and this is their pouncing.
Little theatrics yesterday during that speech. I perceived it as I just saw a broken man. But on that note, is that an act he's putting on? I mean, when
no way.
He goes behind stage, does he go, I told him?
No way. He's the one tell I made. I was talking with Andre about this. Let me play this clip here, okay?
They gave me a list here. The first person I was instructed to call on was Kelly O'Donnell of NBC.
Okay. If he was faking it, he would just call on her. He wouldn't say, I've been handed this list and been instructed. He wouldn't do that. Jacqueline, $20 super sticker. Thank you. Everyone, thank Jacqueline.
I don't know what it's going to take. Some people have the opinion that they talk about impeachment, but I've also heard no impeachment yet. Just military court. You should be thinking.
What? General Milli Vanilli's court? I was talking about this to a caller earlier. This shocked the hell out of me about General Milli Vanilli. Do you know that he played on the same high school football team as that transgender health secretary that Biden appointed? And that's not a coincidence. What are the odds of that? These people are all connected. They keep saying we've got the greatest military. Hey, listen, our servicemen and women obviously are the best, but our leadership are all liberal wokers who think white supremacy and MAGA are the greatest threats to national security. And the attitude that you get, I saw the press conference with the 4-star general that's in command of Afghanistan on the video yesterday with Kirby. How long is? I mean, I was scared. I watching this guy. I've never seen generals like this. I was talking to a caller earlier. I think of Norman Schwarzkopf, who's no longer with us. I wish General Schwarzkopf were alive to give unfortunately, the only generals that are giving analysis, because I'm watching all the generals on TV.
Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates, and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely.
Andrea, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Andrea. Everyone, thank Andrea. What Trump said last night was correct. Biden thinks he's a tough guy. He talks tough but does nothing because he's a coward. That's Andrea. Yeah, you're right on the money, Andrea. Trump's always right, isn't he?
We're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way.
Steve Kane Show.
Insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
Yeah, hold on.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients.
Nick in Baltimore. Hey, Nick.
With your prescriptions, you'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course, we'll assist in anything helping you find.
Kathy and I had a great podcast last night. Make sure you check it out.
Your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an.
Yeah, I mean, I really, what I was saying earlier, I am really in shock.
Call Debbie's office. The number 954
Between Pelosi's speech yesterday about women, the power of women, and women can do it. And then she says, people ask me, what's in the water in San Francisco? I'm like, what the freak is she talking about?
Advocates.com.
It's crazy town, what's going on here.
By Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-GAIN 1. That's 1-888-GO-GAIN 1. And now, here's Steve Kane.
All right, third and final hour has begun. Callers on hold, stand by. We'll go to you shortly and check it in with us now from the Laporta Contracting, Cooper City, Steve Kane Radio Studio. We have Steve Kane. Hey, Steve.
Good morning.
Oh.
Hey, is this the first day of the
rest of our lives? Yeah.
escape plan that is going to clear all our allies' way and set a new start? I'd like you to do this, Brian, if you could. I'm sure most of us will be watching solid news.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't leave it.
But it's like you can't take your ride.
Mm-hmm.
It's awful.
Now I want to tell yours. Yeah.
Do you have a clear picture of what is scheduled? So we're talking if we start the clock running now and we go till the end of Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, I think Well, we're supposed to be out by Tuesday.
Schedule. All right. So what is the schedule? If it runs like they've got it scheduled.
Oh well, okay. Over at the Alamo, which is what I'm calling the airport now, because that's basically what it's become. Right now, they're beginning the evacuation of the remaining U.S. personnel, the military personnel and equipment, the Marines and people that are at the airport. They've told, after the events yesterday, they told the Americans, don't come to the airport. Find your own way out of the country. So we're bugging out now. So what's going to happen is no more Americans certainly are going to go to the airport and be evacuated. They're going to be left behind. And the planes by Tuesday will be out with all of our personnel. And then Psaki's going to come out and say mission accomplished. And then middle or end of next week, we're going to openly see a bloodletting in Afghanistan. Like it's going to be, you know, it's going to be like the French Revolution over there. Just they don't use guillotines. They got other devices, you know, that they use. It's going to be bad. And you know, a story came out today that was confirmed, and I'm so numb today. I really am. It's crazy. Listen to this, Steve. This has been confirmed by multiple mainstream news outlets. The Biden administration, that attack yesterday was a Taliban attack, right? I mean, Americans can't get through the checkpoints, but a guy with a bomb vest can. Come on. Biden gave a list to the Taliban with the names, cell phone numbers, and addresses of every American in Afghanistan. Every American in Afghanistan.
Find a list, is it?
Well, that's what they're calling it now. Oh, and also a list of all the Afghans with all of their contact information and the cell phones which they can use to track them and their addresses and everything. So I think right now what's going on is there's a stakeout going on by the Taliban of the Americans. And once we're gone, they're going to go pick them up. That's what I think's going to happen. And look at what happened with Jimmy Carter with 51. The Biden number is 1,500 Americans are going to be left behind. I think it's more like 15,000 or 25,000, but their number is 1,500. If 50,
where are they going to be spending the weekend?
In their last moments in hiding from the Taliban. The Taliban, you know, they're where I don't know. No more. Don't come to the airport. They said, no one can go to the airport now. It's not safe. So you got to stay back and wait for us to pack up and leave, and then you're on your own. They said they're on their own, Steve. They're on their own. The Americans are on their own. Civilians.
So the military isn't even all together, or
the Americans left behind are not military, Steve. They're civilian workers. Civilian unarmed workers. They have no weapons, and they're civilians, and they're not in uniform. Now they should start dressing up in Muslim Afghan garb so they can blend in a little bit. But there
basically is no plan. I mean, I don't hear a plan in all.
No. And who the hell is ISIS-K? I heard of them the first time yesterday. ISIS. Special K.
Yeah.
Is Corn Pop with a K? Corn, does he spell corn with a K? Corn Pop. Oh, my goodness. I
gotta tell you, it was only a passing moment, but as a theater person, it struck out to me that pose that you're talking about, that Biden with the hand back to the forehead, the Hamlet pose.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's classic Hamlet, you know, and the words that go along with it: to be, not to be, or not to be. That's the question.
That's that moment.
Hand, yes, with wrist.
So that was. So are you saying that was planned and rehearsed?
It was lifted from Shakespeare.
Well, was Biden spontaneous, or did he plan that?
I suspect he planned it.
Is it in Shakespeare? Is it to be or not to be, or is it I'm effed? Which is the line that you use at that point? I mean, my goodness.
Well, I guess you could mix and match, take what you want, but yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the high point for me. I said, "Oh my God, He's doing Hamlet now."
Now your son is a first lieutenant in the Army. He's in the Tank Corps, so this is hitting home. This is hitting home.
I don't really have a clear picture of where he is. If you think it's horrible watching it without kids in the battles in the battle scene.
You know, when your son was talking about, you know, going to college or OTC, I was telling you to push him in the Coast Guard because it's a great career and it's non-combat. But he wanted to go.
There's only one problem: is my son doesn't. This is Alex. My son doesn't push, so.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I know. You can't. I know. I got a kid too. You can't tell him what to do. You can only advise.
And they've got the lieutenants.
Yeah.
Bars on.
Yeah. You want to take some calls?
Sure.
All right.
I'd like to try to get back to the portrait of exactly what we should expect this weekend.
Disaster. Chaos, disaster, bugging out. Yeah. You know, is this the beginning of the end of the Biden presidency? I mean, is he on his way out now, or what? What's going to happen with...
Another great question. That's why you're a great host.
Yes, I know. Yes.
It's that's the key question right now, and how is it going to end?
Yeah.
Another key question. Is the impeachment? First of all, here's another great question: is there going to be impeachment? You don't hear a lot of impeachment stuff now. I guess.
No, didn't you see Pelosi yesterday? She was checked out yesterday. After it was confirmed about Americans dead, she went and did this feminazi speech on the... Did you see it? It's about women, and women can do things, and we're celebrating women. There's, my goodness.
These people are in outer space.
You know, she was talking about her daughter. It is so hard for me to believe that someone impregnated Nancy Pelosi and she's raised children. She is so out of her mind. She is just, she is as uncaring as Biden. Biden was trying to make it about him, talking about Bo. Yeah, what is that sideline with Bo? Now, listen, if you're on hold, stand by. I got a big announcement from MyPillow. A huge announcement from MyPillow, and you're going to want to take advantage of this, Steve. Go to MyPillow.com and click on the Radio Listener Specials page. Okay? And this is amazing. With the promo code Kane, this is a huge announcement. Mike Lindell's office called me yesterday with it. This is a big deal. At MyPillow.com, go to the Radio Listener Special page, and right now you can order the MyPillow My Slippers. I have a pair of these. 50% off. 50% off. But you've got to use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout. They come in multiple styles and colors for both men and women. I have the tan moccasin ones. They're the most comfortable thing I've ever worn, Steve. And I don't know. You need to take advantage of this as well. When I get home every day, first thing I do is I put my slippers on. And when I wake up in the morning, they're by my bed. I put them on and wear them until I leave the house. Sometimes I wear them to work and wear them out and about too. But 50% off the MyPillow My Slippers, the lowest price ever, but you've got to use the promo code Kane. And this is one of those specials, like the towel one, that's going to disappear. They're going to run out of stock on these. This is an amazing deal. So go to MyPillow.com, click on the Radio Listener Specials. Okay, that's where you see this, and the promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, 50% off the MyPillow My Slippers. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. We'll be right back.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to talk to you about Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting.
Steve Kane Show.
We needed a new roof, and we knew we needed a new roof.
Hey, Barry, hold on. Steve Kane Show.
We saw wet spots on the ceilings.
Steve Kane Show.
Tom Laporta, and he came out, he did a
Hold
free roof inspection, which he does for everybody, not just us. And
Steve Kane Show.
We needed a new roof. We had a mold problem. It was
Yes,
only going to get worse.
Okay, hold on.
With our HOA association, we fixed our roof.
Oh. Amelia, $10 super chat. Thank you. Thank Amelia. Prayers to Americans who were abandoned. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I know. Oh, somebody had asked. I always get this asked. The Make America Great Again hats. People like to say they're made in Mexico. No. This is from Trump's official site. I bought this. Made in America. Thank you very much.
Tom Laporta for a free roof inspection. He does residential and commercial properties, and his cell number is 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. Make sure you tell him Lori Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, and on the line, Steve, we have your attorney, Attorney Barry Siegel. Attorney Barry.
This fine day.
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Can't complain.
All right.
Well, it's been distressing watching the news. I mean, just a lot of things going on, of course, but the reports on COVID and what's going on here in Florida and how the hospitals are filled up, and we're seeing it in our practice every day. We're getting calls from people who have a family member that passed away, that didn't get their planning done, and now they need help with the probate and leaving a mess behind. And unfortunately, we also have clients who've also passed from COVID, and we're seeing that when they have a properly drawn up estate plan, things are handled smoothly. We get to avoid probate and all of the issues involved with that. So I mean, it's just the phones are because people really have it in the front of their mind in these times to make sure that they have a plan in place to take care of themselves, their family, make sure they have the right people in place to make decisions if they can't, whether they be financial decisions, legal decisions, healthcare decisions. It's just important to make sure that you have all this up to date. Even if you've done it in the past, when's the last time you took it out and reviewed it? That's really what we all need to do, is just make sure that we have everything done and up to date, protecting ourselves.
And that includes the living will, right? Oh. Yeah.
Determine who's going to make your healthcare decisions, and then the HIPAA authorization in relation to allow certain people access to medical information and allowing doctors and nurses and medical providers to share information with those people that you.
Yeah, and when it comes to estate planning, with Attorney Barry Siegel, everything is locked down. It's done right. Every eventuality that you could imagine and many more. Barry has seen it all and takes care of everything. And it really makes it, in a time when your family is dealing with loss, with grief, it makes it so much easier for them because everything is in a nice little bow in that revocable living trust. Listen, give Attorney Barry Siegel's office a call. It's a free consultation if you mention you heard them on the radio. 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, have a great weekend. We'll talk next week. All right, take care. Yeah, full board, Steve, full board.
What I want to try to do is I'm trying to get a visual. I work very visually in my work. Is this a mad dash for the airport? What is it?
No, you are not to go to the airport if you're an American in Afghanistan. You're on your own. Figure it out. You know what it means? It's like I put you in the car, Steve, and I drive you on the road between Vegas and LA, and I drop you off on a side road out in the middle of the desert. You're on your own. I don't even give you a canteen. You're on your own. Find your way back. That's it.
No.
I'm not kidding. I know it's hard to believe.
That to the audience. I'm unsatisfied with that.
Well, yeah, Biden's not.
Yeah, all right, but I want to talk to the audience and ask anybody out there that has an idea. Here's the question. What's it going to look like today? Where are they starting? Where are they trying to get to?
The Biden administration, they've left billions of dollars worth of military equipment that they're going to turn around and use on us.
Okay, well, slow down. Well, who could do something about it?
Everybody.
No. You said no one's doing anything about it.
Hey, Biden is not running the White House. He is.
You don't think Kamala and Nancy know that?
Oh yeah, they know. They're hiding behind. I believe, my opinion, that Obama, Soros, and all them is running it.
Yes.
Hiding behind Biden, and so he'll take the fall. Biden doesn't even know. He can't even find his way out of the Rose Garden, for goodness sake.
Mm-hmm.
Anything.
Yeah, see, what I picked up in the last week, because there's been a lot more press activity, okay? And I've just watching everybody in a stressful when there's a lot of stress and chaos going on at the White House with everyone in the different agencies, State Department and Pentagon. And when they're in this crisis, there's more tells as to what's really going on. They can't hide things as much. I believe who's running the Oval Office is indirectly is Obama through Jen Psaki. I think Jen Psaki is the intermediary, the go-between Obama and Biden. And I think Jen Psaki is, and I know this sounds crazy, but I think Jen Psaki, when he said yesterday, they've instructed me to take these people, that's Psaki. I think, and so in effect, Jen Psaki is in direct control, and I think she speaks with Obama multiple times a day. Yeah, she's referred to speaking to the president on one occasion when she meant Obama.
So what is she going to be doing today? How is she going to get these people?
They're not getting anyone else out. They're not doing that, Steve. They're done. No, they're done. Those people are done. Left behind. MIA. Yes. Yes, they're done.
Well, the ones that are left, they wanted to stay.
To make a better Afghanistan. Yeah, that's right. And if you know, they've been saying all week, Steve, all week long, Jen Psaki, even, I think Biden said this yesterday in his mumbles, every American who wants to leave will be able to leave. So they've already declared the people that they didn't get out, that they've abandoned, wanted to stay behind in a country run by the Taliban.
This is terrifying.
Yes.
You know, the Biden administration gave a list to the Taliban terrorists. Biden administration gave a list of Americans and the Afghans who were helping us. They pretty much turned it into a hit list.
And that list isn't just names; it's cell phone numbers and addresses.
This
is true, Steve. This is all that's happened.
So where does that leave my son?
Well, I don't know. Wherever he is, in the Army.
But doing what?
I don't know. I know it's scary. Steve's in denial. He doesn't want to hear it. This is what they've been announcing for the last 4 days.
Denial too, I can tell you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
The airport, they're done.
They said, do not come to the airport. It is no longer safe to go to the airport. So yeah, that's what they said. They said that 2 days ago, before this attack, by the way.
It's supposed to be going on in 3 days.
They're packing up the military at the airport and evacuating. We have about 5,000-6,000 guys at the airport. They're going to spend the next 2-3 days getting them out.
That's ridiculous. They just give them a death sentence.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Well, they're going to be hostages. No, they're currency. They're hostages.
Yeah, hundreds of millions of dollars. They're going to ransom pay.
Yeah.
Where? Oh no, we need our president back.
Yeah. Well, we need a. Hey, take care. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Yeah, can you hear me, Brian?
You're on the air. What's your name?
It's Dennis from the UK.
Oh, Dennis in the UK. Hey, Dennis.
I'm doing this. We need to get him out of office.
Unfortunately, there's no mechanism for that. We have what we have. There's 3 options we have, none of which will happen. One, Kamala Harris invokes the 25th Amendment. 2, Joe Biden resigns. 3, he's impeached and removed from office. None of these things are going to happen. Yes, she can. Yeah. Kamala can. Yeah, the vice president and the cabinet do it. Yeah. So we have those 3 options. None of them are going to happen.
Biden's speech yesterday was absolutely atrocious. And when he took the questions, when he said about the first person I've got on. I've been chosen, told to take it from. That's Lusaki right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's all Obama. Every bit of it. It's a joke.
Well, it's not a joke because at least you guys in the UK, Boris sent in the SAS, the Special Forces, and got your people out.
Just give me a yes or no on this. Is there going to be a massive loss of life today?
Well, there was worse than yesterday. I hope not. There were over 100 murdered yesterday.
You don't know, because obviously American forces, from what I can gather, are going to be the last ones there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah. Take care. Good morning. You're on the air.
Brian, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, speak up. I'm having a hard time hearing you. You got to put your mouth up closer.
Vincent Wellington.
Hey, Wellington.
Yeah, I was just commenting in about Biden and his blunders in Afghanistan. I see it unfolding kind of like very similar to how we had our Saigon issue, but this is a lot worse. This is going to be a lot less covered because of the remote area in which a lot of this is going to go on. Plus, we're getting censored here in America, so anything.
I don't know. It didn't take. No. Almost immediately, the media didn't want this out. Almost immediately, we were getting video on Twitter of the scene of the attack yesterday. I saw it early in the morning hours yesterday still, and I wish I wouldn't have seen it. What you've seen on TV is nothing compared to what it really looked like. It looked like a slaughterhouse, and that came from not us or the media. That came from Afghans on the street with their cell phones.
I have a different spin on what I think they're doing as far as with Biden and what they tried to do with Trump.
Let's hear it.
And I believe what it is more of they're trying to relinquish the power of the presidency. You see, Nancy Pelosi, let's just remember Obama, when he got sworn in, who was the first person that he had walking arm in arm with him after he left Michelle? He had Pelosi. He had her walking behind him. These people are being led by the same person. Not that Trump was, but what they're trying to do is pull the power from the presidency and make it to where that branch of government really never can get anything accomplished without the full support of these people that have been.
This is you give them too much credit. These are government workers, and as most government workers, they're incompetent. Here's the thing: we got a feeble, checked out president, and whatever condition he has is severely aggravated by high stress situations. That's why he was so off yesterday. The stress of this attack. Okay.
Together.
Looks like they gave him a sleeping pill. I mean, but they couldn't even wake him up. But so what you have is we have a government of committee that's running. We've got this Jen Psaki Obama running the staff. We've got Jill Biden with some influence. We've got Pelosi. We got a little bit with Kamala. We have no firm government leadership. That's what's going on. It's not by design. It's just because we have no leader right now because Biden is so checked out.
Trump said something interesting because these, in quote, TV generals, he was crazy. Trump was saying, we've got great generals, and then he added, they're not the TV generals that you see on television. But in other words, there is obviously a military force behind the scenes, and Trump basically said yesterday that the TV generals are just front guys.
I'm not listening to the guys behind the scenes.
You're talking about the lower ranking generals. Yeah, they might be great, but they're not in charge. They don't. They got to listen to Milli Vanilli, who played football with the transgendered Secretary of Health and Human Services, which just blew my mind this morning. I mean, that tells you where he's coming from.
Yeah, Brian, because remember, I brought him up and I said he's kind of feminine himself, and look at that's just one more point.
Well, I want to give kudos to the great Greg Kelly of Newsmax TV broke that story. That's where I picked it up from. Greg, I told you guys, Greg Kelly's where it's at. Hey, take care, all right, Wellington. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. There's one opening on our board at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. We'll be right back.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beat.
You become the enemy. Martial law. Understand that if active duty military actually get deployed within the United States, that weapon is not just pointed at other people.
Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, we're back 36 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Our number, toll-free 1-888-GO-KANE1. That's K-A-N-E, and the number 1-888-465-2631. Yeah.
Any more massacres?
You're in with the massacres and the visuals so much.
In these vague generalities, which don't give people a chance to get used to.
No, I think they'll probably they're expecting more attacks on the airport. Yeah, see, because the Americans are all in one spot now.
And that is where, the airport.
That's the only place the American forces are. Yeah.
They've been told not to be at the airport.
No, no, Steve. The military are at the airport. The civilians have been told not to go to the airport. You know, yesterday Psaki was asked about Biden resigning, and there was Psaki had a press conference after Biden's event. Listen to this.
2 Republican senators so far have called on the president to resign over the attacks in Afghanistan today. What's the White House's response to that?
I would say first, this is a day where U.S. service members, 12 of them, lost their lives at the hands of terrorists. It's not a day for politics, and we would expect that any American, whether they're elected or not, would stand with us in our commitment to going after and fighting and killing those terrorists wherever they live, and to honoring the memory of service members, and that's what this day is for.
Okay, now, the reason I play that, if anyone knows who asked that question, let me know. She didn't identify herself, and she was wearing a mask, so it's hard to tell who these reporters are. Now, I think that's an interesting thing, because maybe that's a little foreshadowing for somebody in the mainstream media to ask Psaki about Biden resigning. That sounds like foreshadowing it to me. Yeah, that's something. I'd like to know who asked the question, because I really I didn't catch it. Now, well, let's take 1 or 2 more calls, and I got some more audio. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, Brian.
Agostino.
Oh yeah, how's it going?
Brian, you got social media. You got TikTok. Have you checked your TikTok?
Of course, it's mine.
No, I mean, have you heard what the people are saying about this attack?
Well, tell me. You're a people, so.
God.
Well, the problem is we have thousands of Americans there.
Rob O'Neill?
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that shot bin Laden.
Yeah.
Oh, and he said they could go in with special forces and take them all out.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Biden said yesterday. By the way, Augie, thanks for the call. Biden said yesterday the mission in Afghanistan was accomplished long ago. The mission was to get bin Laden. We got bin Laden, and now it's time to leave. There's nothing. It's done. Our Americans are going to be left behind, and we got a new terrorist state. I would think they'd be upset. I mean, I'm upset. I don't know. What do you think? It's happening. It's happened. This is not news. It's happened. They've been saying this for days. I know. That's why I was telling you earlier. I feel so numb today. It's because it's hard to accept that this is happening.
People out today.
No, not Americans. They're getting Steve. I've been watching this so closely all week. The only people I've seen at the air, other than the U.S. military, okay, the people that are not part of the U.S. military have all been Afghans. They're all wearing Afghan clothes. They've been showing these evacuations. I haven't seen one American in the bunch. They have told the American civilians not to come to the airport. It's too dangerous. And we're leaving in like 48 hours. And it's going to take about 2 days just to get the U.S. forces out of the airport evacuated with their equipment. So that's what their focus is now. Their focus is getting U.S. equipment and personnel out from the military, not our civilians that are left behind. That's crazy, but it
was a plane, right?
Well, they have planes. Not. Yes, the people. No. The only people that are going to be leaving are the military. The civilians are not going to be evacuated. Not American civilians. No, it's over.
Todd, I want to hear from the audience. I got to double check that with the audience.
Steve doesn't believe me.
I find that impossible to believe. I figured a last stand, a last run, the last day or two to get.
Nope. It's done. They're already starting They started yesterday evacuating the U.S. military personnel from the airport. Started already. Started at least 24 hours ago. No, it's it. It's done. I know it's hard to believe. Good morning, caller. You're on the radio.
It's Sandra from Boca.
Hey, Sandra. I know, Steve. I know it's hard. It's crazy. What's up, Sandra?
How are you, Steve? I want to say hi to you, too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I know that's very difficult. I just want to say just one comment that I find so telling about Biden. He said, we're not going to forgive, we're not going to forget, and we're going to hunt you down.
Was he talking about MAGA?
No, actually, that was Biden.
Yeah, that was Biden, yeah.
We're going to hunt you down. In the meantime, it just came to light today that I just found out that this list has been given over to the Taliban as a Christmas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So who is hunting who down?
Well, the list, we've been talking about this. The list that Sandra is talking about here is the Biden administration gave to the Taliban a list with the addresses and phone numbers of all the Americans that were leaving behind in Afghanistan, as well as a list with the names and addresses and phone numbers as well of the Afghans that have been working for us, including confidential informants and things like this. Yeah, that's correct.
Yes.
So who's going to hunt who down?
They're hunting the Taliban. The Taliban's responsible for the attack yesterday.
It's paradox when he said that. He's like, we're going to hunt you down. I'm like,
mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going to do that. That's
mm-hmm.
Right now, Steve, You ask, where are these Americans? These Americans are not at their homes. They're not. They got to be somewhere in hiding. They're scared to death. God only knows where they are right now, the rest of these Americans, but they're certainly not at their homes. I really don't believe that.
Well, they probably have a short list of friends to go to. You know, like I give an example, like one thing we haven't heard of, during the Iranian hostage crisis, okay, there were Americans that got away from the embassy, and some of them made it to other embassies, the Brits, the Canadians, and others, and they got some of our people out of Tehran. It took months. I hope to God that there's some of that going on, but the difference between Tehran and this is the other countries closed their embassies down. Yeah, there's no French embassy or British embassy to go to like there was in Tehran. Where are they running to? Who's going to take them in? And they're going to get their heads cut off if they take them in. It's not like Tehran. I don't think they're in safe houses. I think a lot of them are at home waiting. Where can they go?
Not much. Nowhere.
Mm-mm.
It's sad. It's just sad. And it's like, you hand over a list. I mean, I don't know. That just blew me away.
Mm-hmm. Hey, yeah.
Take the word impeachment. Do you think that when this is over, say next Wednesday, just arbitrarily, do you figure there's going to be a big push for impeaching?
I think it's a delicate situation with Biden because everybody knows his cognitive problem. So when they take all that into consideration, they're going to say, do we really want to impeach him or not? I mean, this is crazy that Trump got impeached over a phone call. In the meantime, we've got so many people being killed.
See, here's the problem, Steve, with the impeachment. One, the Democrat... No. Kamala's on... The Democrats are not going to impeach their own, and even if they did, he would not get removed. The second thing is this. There is no one in Washington who's more corrupt than Biden. And Jill, and as checked out as he is, Jill is not. They know every dirty thing that everybody has done in Washington, and Pelosi on down. If they went against the Bidens, Jill would be letting that stuff loose. They can't, so no. It's not going to happen. We got 3.5 years of this left. He's got. They got. Jill and Joe Biden have more crap on people in Washington than J. Edgar Hoover had, because he's been involved in the dirty deals his whole life.
But that means there are a whole bunch of people out there that have dirt on him.
But it's that mutually assured self-destruction. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to. He's at the end of his career. Some of them are still going. He knows everything about everyone. It's not. You're in a little denial, Steve.
The Biden people a lot of credit for skills that so far I haven't seen them display.
Well, Pelosi displayed it.
He's in the White House. They're in the White House. They've displayed something. Hey, we've got to take our last break of the day. But thanks for the call. I know we're ending on a depressing note. Hey, if you're on hold, don't go anywhere, okay? No, I want to go home and forget about the last three. I mean, this is one of the most depressing days ever that I can remember on the air. I feel like September 12th today. I really do. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this.
Steve Kane, we are here this morning with William Youngerman from William Youngerman, Inc. for our gold report. William, how are you? Welcome to the show. Wanted to ask you the big question, the big one that everyone wants to know. With gold, when's a good time to buy, and when do you sell?
Okay, the answer to the question, when do you sell, goes back to why did you buy it in the first place? When the reason you bought it is fulfilled, it's time to sell. Or when the reason that you bought it no longer exists, it's time to sell. In 1980, gold hit a high of $850, and people had bought gold all the way up to that level. And at that time, the reason to own gold changed dramatically because we had 25% interest rates all of a sudden. The government said we will stop inflation no matter what, and they did so with very high interest rates. that reason for owning gold.
No, you have to have 3/4 majority in the Senate to remove a president in an impeachment trial. 3/4 majority. It's not a 51 vote. Steve Kane Show.
Insurance policy, you don't necessarily buy and sell your life insurance policies.
Hold on, Steve Kane Show.
And some of your money should always be
Steve Kane Show.
regardless of what the price is doing.
Steve Kane Show.
Historically, we've always said at least 5%.
Hold on.
At this particular time, we recommend much higher percentage of our assets being gold, silver, and platinum. So the reason for buying it will determine when to sell it. If that reason changes or is fulfilled, that's the time to sell it. But it must go along with the fact that...
Go back to the phones. I just want to tell you guys the show is winding down, so you want to be quicker to the point so we can get through these calls and get all your content on. Let's go to Wisconsin. Gary always has something interesting to say. Hey, Gary.
Good morning, Brian and Steve. I know with the bad things that are happening with Afghanistan are worrying, but how are you guys doing today?
The best we can.
So, to answer Steve's question, I'm going to use it as an analogy to get to the point. Steve, have you ever got to the point where you had to do something, you became overwhelmed, and like let's say packing for the cruise that's coming up, and all of a sudden you start packing everything all up, and you're in such a hurry that you forget things behind?
In this analogy you're drawing, where the American soldiers, the ones who got forgotten and left behind?
To your socks and underwear left behind.
That's my point. Because, all right, we're in the United States. We're already on the 27th. Probably over there it's already the 28th.
Yeah.
We're already starting to run out of time. And if they got till the 31st, now those that are left behind, which a lot of those that are being left behind, I heard that they got to go to a nearby safe country in order to get out of Afghanistan. But I'm also believing, too, as well, that with the Taliban, they're going to try shielding themselves between all those people so they have somebody there, because if there's airstrikes thereafter and those people are still in there, they can be shielded in with the Taliban and protect them. So,
and I'll tell you what's going to happen. President Trump, Gary, you're right. And, President Trump brought up something that I did not know last night on Sean Hannity. This Bagram Air Force Base is on the Chinese border. I did not realize that. And the Chinese are going to have, and it cost $10 billion to make. The Chinese are going to set up shop at that air base. Yeah.
The 28 over there.
Yep. And they only have enough time now to get the American service personnel out. They don't have time for any more civilians, even if they were allowed to come. Hey, Gary, what do you think Biden... Well, the military at the airport are going to get on the planes that are there. What do you think Biden and these lunatics tell themselves about the thousands of Americans they left behind?
I don't see any of these Biden supporters out in the street with their flag or their signs congratulating their president.
They're all under rocks.
Democrats, where are you cheering on your president?
Mm-hmm. That's right. All right, Gary. Thanks for calling. Take care. Always something good. All right. Good morning. You're on the radio. Good morning.
This is Dennis from California.
Hey, California.
You're probably wondering why I'm upset. I work graveyard, so and I listen to your show religiously.
Great.
Following it, November. Huge Trump fan.
Great.
But everybody's been asking the same question: who do you think is running, the White House? And I think it's Pelosi and Obama, because Pelosi is pretty much the only one that credited Joe on this Afghanistan debacle. So.
Beltway Rebel, $10 super chat. Thank you. I want to thank Beltway Rebel. The absolute impossible happened. Biden has surrendered our country. Yep.
A comment to
all right.
About the debacle in Afghanistan.
Well, I don't think there's any one person running the country. I think we've got a few people that are running their little kingdoms. We don't have a sole leader. That's part of the problem. And I'll tell you, these civilian workers that are left behind. They work for somebody. I don't think they're all government workers. A lot of them are private contractors. Why aren't we hearing from the companies that employ them screaming at the top of their lungs that their employees are being left behind? I mean, I don't get it. You know, I don't understand how they, you know, Wisconsin Gary was talking about leaving things behind like socks and underwear. They're treating our American civilians like socks and underwear you leave behind in a hotel room when you check out. Yeah, I mean, they're disposable.
Other thing is, I started following this lady. She doesn't live very far from me, in California, and she just lost her son.
Oh.
Met her on Instagram.
Uh-huh. Oh.
But next to one of the K-rails. And
oh, he was one of the Marines? Small world.
I mean, they don't know her, but it's just close to home. Like somebody that's close to home. Like,
yeah. Well, listen, Ty, I appreciate the call. We're about out of time, but thanks so much, and find out if Biden has called her. Okay. Good morning. You're on the radio. Be quick. We're almost out of time. Yeah, you're on the air. Hey, Jerry. Yeah, Jerry.
Okay, hey, Jerry. The proof that they're not going to do anything about Biden is Swalwell's spy and Biden's spy.
Who are you talking to, us or somebody with you? Well, why are you telling us you're going to hang up in a second? I don't understand what that was about. Be quick, because I'm going to hang up in a second. No. We're not going to recommend things we don't know about. Well, we're almost out of time, but I want to remind everyone before we go of this huge announcement. They called me from Mike Lindell's office with this, and it's absolutely amazing. The 50% off with the promo code Kane on the My Pillow My Slippers. Now listen, to get this deal, you go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener specials, and you'll see it. With the promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, save 50% off the My Pillow My Slippers. You can also order by phone, 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. This is a special that will not be forever. They're going to run out of stock on these. This is the lowest price ever, and it's available to Steve Kane listeners. Promo code Kane, Kane. Again, go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener specials, and you'll see the slipper offer right there, Kane at checkout. We're out of time, Steve. You want to sign us off?
On behalf of our technical director, Tyler Kane, my main stream director, I got a new title today, Brian
Craig.
Brian, what is the last title we gave you?
I get a different title I don't need any titles. I just need to get paid. I don't care. Just as long as you get the name right on the paycheck.
FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pomino Beach.
All right. Hey, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Before you go, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Click the notification bell because I'm going to be up on YouTube this weekend with all these developments. And like this video before you go if you don't mind. Okay, guys? Make sure you like the video. That helps me out a lot. All right, guys. Take care. I'll see ya later.